In this quick video, I want to demonstrate how to do pull requests for the original shell app repo. You all received this document, and what I'm gonna talk about is the last part of it here below. I outlined the some guidelines and some information about how to do development on your plugin and avoid making changes to the shell app repo. And only if you cannot avoid it should you make these changes into the repo. So let me go back quickly to this diagram. This is a setup that everyone should have. We have a shell app repo on a GitHub. We have a plugin repo, right? So every developer has their own plugin, and they have their plugin repo under their own account. Shell app repo currently is under remap account, and developers may choose to create a plugin dev repo, but it's not a requirement. Then locally on a developer machine, we have a local copy of the shell app, and we have a local copy of the plugin repo, and possibly a plugin dev repo as well. You can find more information on what each of these are in this document that I'm going to send you. But right now I want to jump in to GitHub and show you how to set up your shell app repo fork and local shell app repo copy on your machine so that you can create pull requests in the future. So first of all, I'm gonna fork the original shell app repo under my account and select my account and fork it there. All right, now I'm gonna just clone it to my disk. Don't forget to add -- recursively, so it clones your repo recursively. Oh, it's actually recursive. All right, I already have it. There you go. So now we're gonna clone our fork to our local disk. And this recursive flag allows us to pull all the submodules that it has, and by default every plugin in our project is a submodule. So if I click on any one of them, it will bring me to a separate repository on GitHub. If you don't do recursive, then there you can initialize plugins afterwards by running git submodule init and git submodule update -- recursive. All right, so now we have our local copy of the shell app in this folder. And if you go back to terminal and type git remote show, oh, sorry, gonna change directory, say git remote show. It will show you have just one remote called origin, which points to your fork. So you can see that it's under my account. What we want to set up here is we want to set up a second remote that points to the original repository, right? So our original is under remap account. So we're gonna need this URL. I'm gonna say git remote add. We say say remap, and then give URL. So now if we do git remote show, it's gonna show us two remotes, origin and remap. We can verify that the remap actually points to the correct repository. So what does this allow us to do is we can pull from any of the remotes at any time locally. So we can do git pull remap, and it will pull, right, ask us to specify a branch, so we can pull directly from master. Like that. Yeah, there you go. So we can pull changes from the original repository into our own local copy. But we cannot push any changes to the original repository, though we can push changes to our fork. And I'm going to demonstrate you how to do this. So I'm going to open the project. I'm going to ask us to build plugins because it's the first time we open it. Meantime, I'm going to go to GitHub desktop client and make sure that this repository is, let me re-add it to my GitHub client. Let's add it to our GitHub client. So we're going to add it. There's a Grasshopper AR repository. We can disregard these changes for now, they're not relevant. Gonna wait a little bit till it compiles the project. So having two remotes allows us to push to any of the remotes. So you theoretically can push to remap remote as well, but it will fail because the way it's set up on GitHub is that only specific users have write access to this repo. But you can push your changes to your own fork. And the reason why you want to do this is when you need a change to be incorporated in the original repo. First, what you need to do is push it to your fork, and then you go on a GitHub and you create a pull request for the original repo. And then the owners or admins of the shell app repo will review your pull request and merge it. And that way we can have your changes in the main shell app repo. After these changes are merged, you then will do git pull remap master to pull this merge from the original repo. And that way you will be synchronized with the latest state of the original repository. And I always suggest to keep a GitHub desktop client open at all times so that you can consult the changes that you're making to the files. Even though you use, if you prefer to use command line client, I still recommend you to use the desktop client just to visually see what's going on with your changes. And then if you notice that some of the changes are not significant or actually can be regenerated, or is just Unreal moving one uh, uh, configuration setting from one place to another place in the same file, this happens actually quite often, then you can just discard these changes. Okay, so is our project. So this is a good example of a change that is not really worth submitting. For some reason, Unreal just moves this configuration option from these lines to these lines, even though the settings are actually the same. So it's the same OSC port. It's just for some reason Unreal does it, and you can safely just discard these changes. You don't need them. So let's say that I'm a plugin developer. So I develop my fiducial relocalizer plugin, and so I do my work here. I have blueprints, I have actors. Then for some reason, I need to create a sub-level, right? So I say sub-level for my sub-level file. And then I want to add this sub-level to the persistent level. This will create a change on the persistent level file, which is stored in original repo. So first we're gonna add existing, select our newly created level. And now we're gonna say save all. So you see Unreal will save this base level file. And we can jump back to our GitHub and we can see, sorry, not GitHub, but Git client, and see this change in a Git. So we're gonna commit. So this is an example of the change that needs to be incorporated back in the original shell app repo, right? So we're gonna create a commit. Gonna commit, and then we can either push this change to our origin remote, and our origin remote is actually our fork, right? So we can either do it here or either do it here. Git push. Now we're going to jump back to our GitHub account. Look at our forked repo, and here we have this commit that we just pushed. So we want this commit to be incorporated back in the original repo. The steps that we need to take is we go to pull requests, and we're going to create a new pull request. And by default, it automatically tries to guess what we want to do. Like, for example, it guesses the branch name, it guesses the repo, and the guess is correct. So we just need to click the create pull request button. I'm gonna add some comments here. and create a pull request. Once it's done, you need to notify owners of the shell app repo. Currently it's me. So yeah, so that I can go and double check the pull request and choose an action on it. Normally I would check the code. I would clone your repo. I would check the change and make sure it's okay, and then I will merge the pull request. In this demo, you're just going to close the pull request, not going to do anything. So we're going to close it for now. But if I'd merge it, then all you need to do on your local copy is just go here and say git pull remap master again, so we can sync up with the latest merged version of the repo. And this is all for this video. Thank you.